All right, it's chip of the day. Today we have a TP5400 from the Nanjing Top Power ASIC Corporation. A 1 amp, 5 amp, 1 amp. Anyway, we have a Chinese datasheet, which I've took into Grok and had Grok translate it for me. I just threw in the PDF and it automatically translated it. So very, very nice. So it's a single cell lithium ion battery charger. I did a video on a TP4056. This is the TP5400. That was a 4056. And that one was just a charge circuit. This one is a charge circuit plus a boost output. So if you have a 3.7 volt battery and you want to use it to power up a 5 volt product, then you need to have an external boost converter that takes 3.7 to 5 volts. Well, this one does both. It does the charging and it does the boosting. So all in one chip. So pretty cool stuff. Let's see here. Let's take a look at the original data sheet. This should look very familiar. It looks exactly the same as the other chip that I showed in a different day. It has a constant voltage mode, a constant current mode, and then a constant. Let's see. Let me do this. So this is the charging curve here. All right. So this is the current. So there's a 1 amp current, and then it dies down when we go into constant voltage mode. So same as other lithium-ion chargers, okay? Here is a typical circuit. We have two LEDs, one when we're charging and one when we're in voltage mode. Hooks up to the battery. This chip does not have temperature sensing, but it does have this cool DC to DC converter built in. So you add an inductor, you add a diode, you add a big capacitor, and it creates a boost converter, takes your 3.7 and outputs 5 volts. So that is super, super cool and very, very handy. I like this part. All right, and how does it do it? Well, it's complicated. It has some comparators here that take a look at the battery. If the battery is voltage is low, then you do a constant current, which is this diode here, or a FET here, and then when it gets charged up enough, it goes into constant current, constant voltage mode. There are some built-in references for voltages, so you can monitor everything. And then that's this half of it. Over here, we have this little DC to DC converter thing that goes wacka wacka wacka. So cool stuff. I think we want to hook one of these up and see how it works. Here's the charges thing. You have just an inductor that you grab to ground, and it creates back EMF, and it throws a big spike out. You capture it with a diode and put it on a capacitor, and you do that until you get 5 volts. This one is also programmable for the amount of current that it will use. Here's the little diagram down here. So 1.1K programming resistor gives you 1 amp. If you only need 245 milliamps, put in a 5K resistor. So you can set it to anything you want. All right, let's take a look at an application. All right, I have a little battery here, and I have this board. This board has the TP5400 on it. And let's see, I need a little wire here to hook up our device. So there you go. I think you can see it's running a little counter here. So the battery is going into a DC to DC converter, creating 5 volts. The 5 volts comes out. Let's take a look at that 5 volts. I'll put an oscilloscope on the 5 volt line. Let's take a look at it. And there you go. We can see it's doing its DC to DC converter thing. We have these ramps here as it's spiking along its way. If we want to get rid of that, we don't like it, we can just add a big capacitor. All right. So if we didn't like that, here's a 220 microfarad capacitor. So I'm going to jam that in here. And then we'll come back and look at it, and there you go. It looks nicer. All right. So let's take a look at another signal. Let's take a look at the DC to DC converter right now. There we go. Oops. Make sure I hold it on here. Yeah. So you can see we have these spikes out here. I'll just take an image of one of them. So we have these big spikes, and that is the switching DC to DC converter. It grabs it to ground, then it lets it loose, it flies up, and it goes past 5 volts, but then it gets clamped at one diode drop above 5 volts. And it will end up then regulating everything to 5 volts. All right. Now, let's talk about this one. Oops, let's see here. All right, let me just remove this from the circuit so we can take a look at it. All right. So it's a nice little board. Comes with a little place to connect your battery. Here's a micro USB to do the charging. Now I'm using this little battery. Okay, this little battery is 400 milliamp hours. So we do not want to charge this with 1 amp. We do not want to do that. Okay, and so we have to make sure when we buy these things off of AliExpress or eBay or whatever, they're going to come defaulting to maybe 1 amp or some other thing. We don't know. We need to make sure that before we attach it to our battery, it's going to be charging at the correct current. Now this is 400 milliamp hours, so we want to charge it at 200 milliamps. That's what we want to charge this thing to, 200 milliamps. Well, how do we do that? Well, we can go to their chart here, and it says 200 milliamps is going to be somewhere around 5K resistor, all right? So what does this board have as a default resistor in it? Okay, if you turn the thing over, it has a little section here. There's a jumper here that you can put a jumper solder blob on, and if you put a solder blob there, it says 1 amp, and then if you leave it open, it says half an amp. So this board defaults to half an amp, and then you can jumper it and make it go to 1 amp. But even half an amp is way too much for us. We want 200 milliamps, okay? So what does the circuit look like on this board? It looks like this. The programming pin comes over here to these 2 resistors, and then here's that little solder connection. So if you put that solder blob on there, you basically are using just the 1.2K resistor, and that programs it to 1 amp. But if you have no solder blob, now you have 2.4K, and that 2.4K is half an amp. But we want 200, okay? And so we want about a 5K resistor, okay? Here's the formula that they're using. The resistance you need is 1,100 divided by the current in milliamps, and this is in K ohms. So really we want 1100, okay? And we have 200 milliamps, okay? And so you get out your calculator, it's going to be around 5K. 1100, 200, 5.5K, okay? Ideally, we want 5.5K. So what I did was I went in and I removed this resistor and I replaced it with a 4.3K. Okay, so 4.3K is 5.5K. So now I have 5.5K. We can come back to our 1100, and I have 5.5K. It's 200 exactly. 200 milliamps exactly. Nice. Okay, and so the resistor that I replaced was this one right here. This one is the 1.2, and I removed this 1.2 and I replaced it with a 4.3. All right, Now this thing will output 200 milliamps. All right. Should we test that? Should we test that? I think we can do that. All right, here is, we're charging. It says, oh, wait a minute, something's going on. There's no battery. Both of these are lit up. It knows that. So let me put my meter into current mode, DC current. All right, and I am going to put my meter where the battery is. All right, and come over here, and I'm going to put it where the battery is, and it is 82 milliamps. So hey, no, we told it to output 200 milliamps. It's only outputting 82 milliamps. All right. Now we need to go back to the diagram, and I need to explain a secondary item in these chips. All right. There's this funny business, before it gets to this 1 amp thing, there's this funny business down here, okay? And that is, if the voltage of your battery is way too low, you don't want to start charging it immediately. You want to kind of get it going. You kind of want to ease it into thinking it's going in the right direction. So you start using a really, really low milliamps down here. You can see down here we were going to run it at a really low milliamps and then finally get it up to 1 amp. But we're going to run it in this low section here. When we hooked up our voltmeter, it basically put 0 ohms across the where the battery would be, and so it went down here into this kind of safeguard region where it kind of eases your battery into its good zone, and then allows it to charge at the 200 milliamps that we've attached it to. Okay, that we've programmed it for. So if I put the battery now back into circuit, we get a nice green light that says, "Hey, your battery's charged. It's doing good." And if I put it back into circuit here, and disconnect my charger. Yes, indeed. And now we have a battery-powered application. Anyway, I do like this chip. All right, that was chip of the day, the TP5400.